Time for the action to continue here at Hidden Valley Raceway with the Touring Car Masters. It is a very good afternoon to our commentary team and Matt Nolte and Warren Luff.
Thanks, Jess. Looking forward to race number 1 of the Touring Car Masters here around Hidden Valley Raceway. Warren Luff joins me and we're both gazing out of the commentary box window because there's still some dark clouds looming around, and John Bowe grabbed his 42nd career pole position. Well, that Wilson Security Torana today will start alongside Jason Gomersall.
Steve Johnson and Glenn Seaton on the second row. Had a quick chat to Stevie J just down the dummy grid. Was reasonably happy, but thought he definitely could have got second because he threw it off halfway through a lap that was good enough for P2. But it's all about the races now.
Question mark next to Cameron Tilley whether that car's going to be okay. They had an issue in the qualifying session earlier today. The suspect might be the same drama they had at Clipsal early in the year, so we'll see whether the number 60 car will be out for this race. Bob Middleton returns to the championship in the car that Andrew Miedeke drove most of last year and into the early parts of this year, the former Australian Super Truck champion and NASCAR racer in the day. So looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to this because I love rolling starts.
Oh, definitely. Look, the good thing for these guys is it takes that one element out of the equation of a standing start. And the rolling start, with the amount of power these guys are putting to the ground these days, but it's still going to be critical. It's a long run from the start-finish line down to turn 1.
How about this guy's effort, Jason Gomersall, qualifying on the front row. We caught up with him earlier today.
Starting on the front row in a brand new car, Jason Gomersall, this Holden Torana has been a beast for you.
It's been good so far. This is only second round and on the front row both times, so pretty happy with that, yeah.
Talk us through the car, because she's new, but obviously a hark back to some history and tradition there.
Yeah, for me, this is probably the most iconic touring car of all time. Yeah, the A9X from the late 70s, the Holden dealer team livery, something I always wanted to build. Something I would have built early on if I could have, but the rules going back, when I first started didn't allow for it. So as soon as I became eligible, I decided to build one. So yeah, pretty wrapped with it. And
this category, it's been so tight, so many different winners. You'd want to be part of that.
Yeah, well, it's 6 different winners I think so far this year. So it'd be nice to be the 7th. Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close. Hopefully this is the weekend.
He's been contesting the Touring Car Masters since 2012. Had a stint in the V8 Utes as well back in the days, and he's really excited and understandably so about racing at two-door Torana.
Oh, look, he's very excited. He's another one I managed to catch up with before the start of this race. Look, surprisingly, considering he's on the front row, he's a little bit disappointed with qualifying. He thought he definitely should have gone a lot faster than what he did. Was very happy with the balance of the car, but he even admitted just didn't quite get the lap together.
Now, we can start with a rolling start for these races here. It shortens down the time to get temperature into the cars, but as easy as it looks on the TV, they're not that easy, the rolling starts.
No, they certainly aren't, because the sort of power these things are putting down, these things will still wheel spin when they get the green flag and they get ready to go. So you've still got to be very smooth in the way that you deliver the power. And as we said, it's such a long run down to the first corner here. Anything can happen. And traditionally, we always see something go wrong down here at turn 1 because it is such a long run. And hopefully these guys can get through and make a liar of me.
The Lexus safety car pulls into pit lane. It's an old Torana lockout for the 25th race of the Touring Car Masters here at Darwin's Hidden Valley Raceway. Nice little build-up. Watch the cars fan out at the start. The green flag waves.
This is a true test of horsepower on the run down to the first corner. Stevie J down the inside.
What a start from Johnson. He just opened it up and will take the lead, and no one would have picked that. Gomersall's gone back 2 or 3 positions in the iSeek Torana. But Junior Johnson leads us out of turn 2, and Seaton gets up on the outside of the curb and kicks up a whole lot of dust.
You are going to see the widest XY Falcon you've ever seen in your life. Stevie J is going to have the bit between his teeth. He's saying they've made some setup changes to the car. They've actually disconnected the rear bar because they were really struggling with power down. So look for him to be a lot stronger in this race than what they were in qualifying. But already JB is all over the back. The tighter sections through here will definitely suit the Torana, but like we saw off the start, the horsepower advantage of the Falcon will really want to open its legs up down the main straight. He's just got to try and sort of keep his elbows out around the back here until he can get back to the front straight.
It's going to be about the drive off that final turn for the Torana. Eddie Abelnica made a great start too. He's up to 3rd in the Darwin's cheapest cars, big Falcon Coupe as they come down to complete lap number 1.
This Falcon Coupe of Eddie's is another car that's got big horsepower, so he'll be looking for a good run, hop in the slipstream of this Torana and see if he can make a move come turn 1. Steve's already going conservative down the inside there.
He's got the legs. He'll pull it back across towards the racing line. Here's a lot of dust on the inside of this main straight. So Johnson leads us through. Bowe 2nd, Abelnica, Glenn Seaton, then Gomersall, and Jim Richards runs in 6th.
You can see how JB can hold a tighter line through turn 1. Here we are on board with Cito for the rolling start.
Oh, what happened there? Missed gear, perhaps?
definitely looks like a missed gear or something like that. And that's one of the things you've got to be so careful of on such a long run down to the first corner. A little mistake like that, it's cost him dearly, and he's still back in P5.
He's probably lucky not to go back any further positions in that one as Seaton. Oh, he's got into the back of Eddie Abelnica. Fast Eddie won't like this. Pulled in to protect the line. He's going to drop 2 spots as Gomersall goes with him. And now Jim Richards lines up for a piece of the action.
Interested to see if the stewards will have a look at that one. It's a sort of a classic sort of hit and run kind of scenario there. But anyway, we'll see how that pans out as the race goes on. But JB's all over the back of Steve Johnson here, trying to find a way past. JB knows if he can get past around this back section.
On board with Gomersall. Let's have a listen. Oh, ouch.
Second to first gear on the up change there. That's definitely not something you want to see. Hopefully it doesn't do any long-term damage to that engine there. It's such an easy thing to do in those starts. You're trying to sort of rush those gear changes. Very easy mistake, but it can also prove to be a very costly one.
Fighting back, although he understeers through turn 1. It's going to let Glenn Seaton, who just gives him a little bit of a rub through turn number 1. We're on board now with the 2-time Australian Touring Car champion through the flip-flop and down to turn 5. I'm having flashbacks to 2015 up here when these two went stroke for stroke. I talk at Johnson and Bauer. Now Gomersall buys into this. And Glenn Seaton, a 4-car scrap on lap number 3.
Looks like JB had a similar issue maybe on the exit of turn 5 there, because he seemed to lose a lot of pace to the back of Steve Johnson's car. Interesting fact about that car of Steve Johnson's, it is for sale.
Is that right?
Yes. There's talk about a new car for next year.
Wow.
A lot of exciting things on the horizon, like we've already spoken about. There's so many new and exciting builds underway at the moment for new cars coming in 2017. So this category is going to go from strength to strength.
Warren Luff, the newsbreaker here during this race today. Back on board with Seaton. Oh, and Cam Telly, well, they haven't cured the issues, have they?
I think that answers your question from earlier. That's disappointing for those guys. It's such a long way to come up here. But look, those guys will obviously get in this afternoon, try and see what they can do to rectify that. Jason Gomersall trying to go the long way around turn 1. There's 2 things that won't happen at turn 1. You won't go around the outside normally, and you definitely won't go around the outside of John Bowe.
No. That's an Eddie corner, though. And we talked about this before. See, Bowe stays off the curb there. Very smart and puts the car down the middle of the road for turn 5.
Really just trying to make it very obvious to Jason that there's no chance of going down the inside there. It's a very traditional defensive move. You come over the top there, you just move the car to the middle of the road just to make it clear to the guy behind that, hey, I know you're there, there's no chance you're going down the inside here.
Great scrap, though, for at least the first 4 positions. They sweep through turn 7 and drops down, then heads back uphill towards Shenanigans Hill. Lots of spectators. Oh, we grab the curb. Johnson, I'm talking about, grab the curb then, and lucky.
Big lock up on the way into turn 10, and similar at turn 5. You've got to watch that approach curve there at turn 10. It's really easy to snag an inside front, and JB's had it now. A little bit of a sniff that Steve's under pressure there.
Watch the front left, there it grabs. Oh. That's an odd landing.
Yeah, you've got a lot of weight of car there, and it's right into the entry of the braking areas there, so the car hasn't had a chance to settle, and it will just always grab that inside front.
Let's keep an eye on that as Glenn Seaton and Jason Gomersall go at it. So, your top 5, Johnson from Bowe, Seaton, Gomersall and Abelnica. The usual suspects there. The scrap continues at the halfway mark of race 1 of the Touring Car Masters here at Hidden Valley. Jim Richards again sitting at the back of this group, who's seen most of this season.
Richo's seen all this sort of stuff before. He knows with these guys icing, it's enabled him to get up onto the back of them. And Richo's smart in terms of his racecraft. He won't be wanting to make any kind of mistakes. He knows that the way that you win championships, because he's won plenty, is...
Let's have a listen. Done it again.
That's not going to be good long-term for those guys. So, look, obviously Jason's just making a few too many little errors out there. Not only is it costing him in terms of track position, but financially, you start doing big mischiefs like that, it will end up hurting the engine in this car.
I wonder if he's going to have to go from 2nd to 4th this whole race now, because he couldn't get it back in the 3rd. That's the 2nd time we've seen that. Down to 1.
It's easy to do there on the exit because the car's all loaded up. You're trying to sort of shift, and you just got to make sure you really drag the thing across the gate. Not try and rush it too much.
Right through there. Clears itself across the top of the S's and down to turn 5 on board with Gomersall. Down into this part of the course that set yourself up nicely out of 1. It's a passing opportunity, but this is the point, the slowest point, where the Tiranas have been very strong.
Around this back section, this is where you'd always expect the Tirana and also the Mustang of Cito there to be a lot stronger than the big old Falcon up front. You're talking a difference of a couple of 100 kilos. So for Steve Johnson, this is about all trying to maintain sort of position around the back. If JB can just get a sniff and get down the inside around this back section, he'll be able to get enough gap that hopefully the horsepower deficit that he does have won't come into play down the front straight.
How good is it seeing the names Johnson, Bow and Seaton at the pointy end of the field once again? Through they come. And Johnson again drives it down the middle. He's seen enough of this with John Bow over the years. Oh, look at Gomersall. Plenty of speed. He's going to have to go the long way around here past Seaton. They're side by side. Seaton on the better line and will hold down the position.
Again, you see Cito just leave the turn in that little bit later than normal, just to let Jason Gomersall know that, mate, there's no way you're going to go around the outside of me. If you're going to do something, you need to be a bit smarter than that.
All these guys running 1:14.5s, 1:14.4s. There's about a tenth of a second separating these guys. Back to Jim Richards. Clean swept around here in 2010, but that was aboard the Falcon Sprint. Sitting back in 6th position at the moment. Race winner at Sandown, but handful of top 10 efforts.
We've still got 4 laps to go, and anyone in this sort of top 4 could ultimately win this. They've shown all over the weekend that each of them have been quick in each of the sessions, so any of these guys, one little mistake, and someone's going to be able to sort of capitalise on that. Jason Gomersall's definitely the man that's had the speed, but just a few too many mistakes in this race. He's probably dreading this part of the track now, this 2nd to 3rd gear change onto the front straight. He just needs to relax in the car. That's much better. He'll be taking a big, deep breath now and having a side back to the outside. Because again, Cito knows that he's got a horsepower deficit there.
Oh, this time there was no troubles, and he goes straight to the defensive. The block seat and says, Cito, you're going the long way around. Have I put the kiss of death on him? I have. And Gomersall spins himself out of contention, and fast Eddie goes with him.
Mate, you've given him the commentator's curse there, but you can see he's just trying to sort of get back to the inside, was more worried about blocking the inside than where he was actually braking. And you can see very early on, the thing got out of shape under brakes, and from there, obviously, he was just a passenger. Obviously, very disappointing for him. It's been such a strong weekend up until this point in time. He'll be very disappointed with that mistake.
I might steer clear of the TCM paddock later on this afternoon, I think. Lock the commentary box door. Let's check out a replay from the iSeek Tirana as he blazed past Glenn Seaton. Got to the inside. That's the dirty line. Hard to pull up, like you said, and watch the world just spin around. You also see Eddie Abel-Nika coming through the background of the shot. He was trying to prevent the pass of Jim Richards happening. Sometimes I wonder whether we should have our commentary box down there at turn number 1. So much happens down there. On board with Seaton. He liked that shot.
He loved that shot. If anything, Jason probably just went a little bit too conservative. He had the horsepower down the straight. He had the move done, but he just probably moved over a little bit too far. As you said, got onto the dirty line, and from there he really was just a passenger. But on board here with Cito, he's certainly closed back up onto the back of JB here. So let's see what these two can do over the last few laps.
Race winner in the final race at Winton. Now sits in 3rd, promotes himself up nicely, brings Jim Richards up to 4th, and Tony Karanfilowski up in the position 5 now. Yes, there are other races out there, but this battle has been fascinating from the drop of the green flag.
And if anything, Steve Johnson's actually managed to pull out just a little bit more of a gap over JB there. And with only 1.5 laps remaining, that's going to be the key to getting around to the finish line first.
Johnson, 7/10 of a second. It hasn't been any more than a second all race long. Fans in for a real treat here. Seaton locks onto the back of the Wilson Security Tirana.
Steve Johnson's just actually done his fastest second sector of the race, so he's definitely pushing on. And now that JB's got his mirrors full of Glenn Seaton, I think he's now more worried about trying to just maintain 2nd position than worrying about that battle for the lead.
It's going to cut him free, isn't it? Coming through, start the last lap. Side by side they go again. Jimmy Richards has turned the tempo up there in car number 2, but it's about a second behind these guys. We start the final lap. That's Darren Bill having a spin down at turn 5, and hopefully can get that car moved before the leaders, because they're on that way down to that part of the course.
Yellow flags will be out if he can't get that car clear, which is going to take away one more overtaking opportunity for Glenn Seaton.
Down they come. He should be in the bottom of this shot unless he's cleared away by now. It just gets out of the way in time, but he's going to be in front of the leading group in the tight, twisty area here.
Hopefully he's got his eyes on his mirrors. I don't know if he actually went wide to let the leaders through, or
Good driving.
Good driving, very, very good indeed.
Lets the group go through, so well done, Darren Bill. Gives a clean run to the checkered flag here. I don't think John Bow's got an answer here for Stephen Johnson. He picked up 2 wins last year. Bow collected the 3rd. That was in Mustang Sally. This year, it's for the GDHO Falcon, the tribute car to Pete Gagan. He debuted at the Clipsal 500 this year and set sail to collect race number 1 honours here at Darwin's Hidden Valley Raceway. Headlights ablaze for John Bow. He's going to finish 2nd, but Johnson, he picks up the win.
He'll be very excited with that. As we said before, dramas throughout practice, but made a few changes going into the race. That'll be one very happy Steve Johnson behind the wheel.
Glenn Seaton, casual as you like. He'll pick up the 3rd position. Another top 3 effort for the baby-faced assassin. There's Jason Gomersall. Got home for 9th position. Oh, dear. Bit of soul-searching for him later tonight, but that car has proved it's got power on this main straight, and that is the king here. What a cool helmet it is, too.
Very stealth, but there's a very disappointed Jason Gomersall. You can see him shaking his head there. He knows that he's thrown that one away.
Stephen Johnson, the winner, less than a second, covered the first 3 cars, I might add. John Bow 2nd, Seaton 3rd, Richardson 4th, Tony Karanfilovsky up into 5th in the end there. Abel Nika, Andrew Fisher, Mark King over the pace to Greg Garwood. Bob Middleton back in 13th. Adam Garwood dropped to 14th, down to Darren Beale, who spun, and Cam Tilley out of this race earlier today.